Hey, I'm Stevie.
Hey, I'm Tanya. Welcome to Lesbians Eat Out,
your go-to channel
for all your eating out experiences and reviews.
Today, we're going to be reviewing Ellen's Stardust Diner. Is a continuation of Lesbians Eat Out in New York and, Lesbians Eat Out in New York City, New York.
Yeah.
And so let's dive right into Ellen's Stardust Diner, a staple of Broadway.
Oh my God, it was so fabulous. I had to hold that F-bomb in there because I feel like it requires a very good positive F-bomb, but that's besides the point. If you're just tuning in, we have a slew of things that we make sure that we cover for every review. We will drop those in the comments and part of the description so you know what we're going to go over. And also, please smash the like button because you liking our channel and subscribing. Also, please do that. Please subscribe.
We will be having new videos regularly because we cannot stay away from food. It's very difficult.
It's really good. Anyway, so one of the things that I have to say that I was very impressed with was the line, if you will. We were
at Ellen's Stardust Diner.
So I like to cover all things atmosphere and service related. One of the things that I always cover is to make sure that we talk about the wait to be seated. With a staple of New York City, it is not uncommon that you're going to have to sit or stand for quite some time to get into said restaurant. When we showed up to the line, it was wrapped around the building.
In fact, we actually walked up the block, thought, what are all these people here for? Got to the front and we're like, oh, we need to walk all the way back up the block to get to the back of this line.
We did.
Handily enough, it was right next to a gift shop, so somebody got to go shopping while somebody stood in line.
Yeah, that was me, by the way.
That shopped. Can't imagine why it was Tanya that went shopping.
Couldn't imagine why it was Stevie that stood in line.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
It's a good butch thing to do.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Chivalry is not dead.
No, it's not.
Thank you, ladies.
She's a perfect gentlewoman, by the way.
Appreciate it. I do try. And by that I mean I make a genuine effort.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You do.
You do. Thanks.
You know why?
Why?
Because it makes you feel special.
It does.
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, back to the line. So yes.
Back to the back of the line.
Back to the back of the line. Yeah. So I went shopping. She stood in line for our spaces. But here's the thing that I thought was really interesting. In a lot of places, when you go and dine out and you wait in line, they call person by person, table by table, whoever was there first.
First come, first serve.
Thank you. So Ellen's Stardust Diner is a little bit different. The staff actually comes out and requests party size instead of going first come, first serve. And I think we only stood for like 20, 30 minutes.
At the most, maybe 30 minutes.
I mean,
it really did move quite quick.
It did. And it was long enough that I still had time to shop.
True.
So anyways, the wait to be seated was about 30 minutes. They seated by party size, which was really awesome. And the reason that we got in is because we actually got seated at the bar.
Yes, which a few people did turn down as 2 to 3 person parties.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I would like to back up and say about the wait, which again, big thing for me, communication, right? So while you were shopping, I'm assuming the manager of Ellen's came along the line and explained their process to the crowd that was standing in line, which I thought was fantastic. Certainly I heard in line, we were here before them, why are they getting seated? Even though very clearly people were walking up and saying, party of 6. Well, you're a party of 4, so obviously they're not looking for you. But the manager did come out. He explained that they seat by party size. That allows them to utilize the space better. It allows them to get people seated quickly. He gave a couple of little, this is a great show, so it'll be worth it. And he did say, nowhere better to people watch than where you're standing right now, which
So
not
true.
Wrong. Yeah, not
so
wrong.
True.
So, he definitely made the most of it. He did explain a couple of the rules, which is if your entire party is not present, you will not be seated whether or not your party size is being called or not. If anyone is missing from your party, you can't be seated.
Okay, let me just tell you, this was like the most gayest place on the fucking planet. It was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Our host / MC / announcer / the man of the show, the ringmaster, if you will, was amazing.
He was
so good. So Ellen's Stardust Diner is a live theater, if you will, while you dine in.
Home of the singing servers.
Home of the singing servers.
Is their catchphrase.
So yes, and he was fantastic, and they announce who the singer is. Mm-hmm. He gets people to participate. He gets people to do cash tips.
Not cash tips, to put into a fund to send the servers to voice lessons, acting lessons, dancing.
You order your dinner, your waiter or waitress, your server will actually sing songs throughout the entire restaurant. When you walk in, it is a restaurant with a lower level. And then you ultimately have like an upper bowl / balcony.
Like a balcony, yeah.
Like a balcony area. And then the restaurant's divided into 2 sections. And in that center is like a little... Like a
stage.
Like a stage, like
very
a little a very narrow runway stage.
I would fall off.
Yes, you
100%.
So I love you, so clumsy. And but the center is a little stage. It's like a small little walkway, but it was pretty cool. And so they sing live music. There's cannons with confetti.
Gotta love a good confetti cannon.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So again,
with big enough confetti pieces to easily pick out of your food. Just to be clear, because I was a little thrown when the confetti went off, and I was like, glad we're sitting under the balcony where we can't get showered in confetti. But then seeing it come down, I was like, all right, I wouldn't end up eating confetti.
I felt a little sad that I didn't get to be showered in confetti.
But we were still there.
So that's the point. So anyways, our host was fabulous. The atmosphere was amazing. There was tons of music. And you know what? Even
dinner and a show.
Dinner for a show, for sure. Even with all the music, though, I still felt like we were really able to have whatever conversations we were having.
Yeah, I didn't have to yell at our
not
server,
at all.
Which, sitting at the bar, our server was the bartender, one of the very few wait staff.
He was so adorable.
He was adorable.
Super sweet.
He was great.
He was great.
But yeah, he was one of the few wait staff that did not sing.
True.
But he was running the bar and the desserts and waiting on us.
He was
a busy man. So not a lot of time to stop and sing for a whole song. Yeah. I did also appreciate the variety. Granted, mostly show tunes, but quite the variety of show tunes.
Very much
appreciated that. We'll take a pause right here so you can experience part of that with us.
Yeah. Enjoy.
We can move into the menu here. So great drink selection, full bar. I mean, they had wine, they had cocktails, they had, you could do shots if you wanted to do shots. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a shot atmosphere, but they were available should you so wish. Now the menu itself, the food menu, was really interesting because it had your very kind of typical diner fare, but it had several menu items with kind of a twist on them. So, some of them were very unique. Some were very, traditional diner foods. Tanya got the Homer Simpson, which was a burger served on
a glazed donut.
On a glazed donut as the bun. Yeah, again, you and your sweet and savory.
It had bacon on it too.
Yeah, and I had a like a mushroom and onion burger.
Yeah, like almost like was it like Swiss, like a mushroom Swiss burger?
No, it didn't have Swiss on it. I had American cheese, which I should have probably gotten cheddar because I prefer that, but I was a little distracted with the music going on. I was like, cheese, yeah, I want that.
Any kind, it'd be fine except for Swiss.
Yeah, I will say. So the menu had a really good selection of burgers, sandwiches.
It did.
The dessert menu was fantastic. They had great shakes, and I don't know if they had malts, but definitely very like old school kind of shakes. The one that we saw made quite a bit was the s'mores shake. Oh my God. They actually do roast the menu.
It was fantastic.
Roast the menu. Roast the marshmallows on the shake, which was really fun to watch and also looked delicious. So we got cheesecake, which also super good, very like heavy, rich, great flavor. I kind of like a heavier texture to my cheesecakes personally.
It was nice and smooth and creamy, but I think the one thing that was very surprising to me about the cheesecake, which I've not experienced this having cheesecake before. So like a lot of times you get that buttery flavor in the crust. I found that the more buttery, almost a caramel flavor, it was very in the cheesecake. It was in the cheesecake. It was really subtle, but it was a very good finish.
Very good finish.
Very good.
Yeah. So backing up to the food that we got, we both got burgers. We've been walking around all day, so we didn't really explore to the full extent the menu as far as our selection. We were gonna share foods, but we both wanted a burger. Tanya likes her burgers well done, medium well. Well done, medium well. I prefer just a nice medium.
She judges me for it, just so you know.
Less so these days than when we started dating. It's the steaks. It's burgers, whatever. Do your burger however you want to do your burger. Ordering a steak well done is weird. I'm not... if that's your thing, that's your thing. I just find that... being raised by people who are very into their grilled meats, it has been very well looked down upon throughout my life. So it's hard for me to get past how I was raised.
But fair enough. But through this experience, honestly, I order my steak medium well now.
As opposed to well done, yes.
Yes, I do.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. I'm getting better.
Yes. Anyway, so back on track. The burger, I ordered mine medium. I will say, to me, it was a little undercooked for medium. Undercooked to a degree where it's kind of falling apart. It's a little more pink than I would necessarily prefer, but it wasn't bad. The flavor was really great. The combination of flavors with the mushrooms and the onions was fantastic. I'm a person who likes mayonnaise on my burgers. I did have to ask for mayo. They brought me a whole dish of mayo packets, way too much, more than I needed. But, they brought it to me. It was available. Appreciated that. Your Homer Simpson, you were very pleased with.
I was very pleased with it. It was really good. Here is the one caveat. The one caveat that I did not think about is a donut has a hole in the center.
That is true.
So I'm eating this fantastic burger, and I get to like kind of you get past like the ring, and then there's like this hole, and you're like, well, now what do I do with that? But it was still fine. It was really good. The bottom of the bun or the bottom of the donut did get a little bit soggy. Maybe because either the donut wasn't thick enough, or it could have been that maybe the cut wasn't actually quite even.
Yeah, a little too thin on the bottom.
Yeah, a little too thin on the bottom. But it was really, really good.
Yeah. I will say, both served with waffle fries. Really good fries. Yeah,
really fantastic waffle fries.
Sometimes waffle fries can be a little bit hit or miss because they're so thick, but these cooked to perfection, seasoned to perfection, super delicious. Yeah, definitely.
So
as far as why we actually chose Ellen's Stardust Diner to eat at, we were wandering around downtown. We hadn't actually pre-selected Ellen's. We looked for places that were close to where we were going or kind of on the way to where we were headed. and it popped out as kind of like a signature place to stop, if you will. A staple. And yeah, definitely dinner and a show. It did feel very New York Broadway. It definitely had that vibe to it. And it was the only place we ever really had to wait for the entire time we were in the city.
True. That's really true.
And we agreed that we were fine with the wait because we really wanted the experience, and worth it. I'm glad we did. Glad we waited.
Side note, however, it is important to keep in mind that some people may talk about Ellen Stardust Diner because people can't make it on Broadway, blah, 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 whatever. However, with that being said, I think he said 16 or 17. 17 of their servers have, since working there, have made it on Broadway.
That was actually only
for last year.
It was in the year before the pandemic. Yeah. 2019, they had 17 servers leave to go work on Broadway. Top 3 shout outs. The first shout out is going to our fabulous MC / host. Absolutely amazing. Made some great jokes also.
Can we talk about the inside gay jokes that he was throwing out there?
There were a lot of straight people dining in this diner.
I had no idea.
And it was great. It really was. Very low key, nothing inappropriate for a family, but definitely, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
And what's really awesome is I would have been one of those people who had no idea last year.
I did have
a year and a half.
Even while we were there, I had to explain a couple of things.
Oh, that's true.
You're like, wait, what's an otter? I got
you. No.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So another shout out that we have was the seating system. Again, East Coast, super efficient. Can't blame them for that. Maybe not like the most pandering type of system, but definitely to the point. Got things done. Got people in. We went from being all the way up the block to being 20 yards from the front within less. I would say within 15 to 20 minutes we were pretty well up the block.
It was actually really kind of interesting to see how quickly the line was moving for that.
Definitely.
Again, seating system.
I will say, if you're in a larger party, you will get seated faster.
That's true.
The parties of like 5, 6, 7 got seated way faster than parties of 2 and 3. Certainly.
Very true.
Certainly.
And our last shout out was for audience engagement.
Yes. For dinner and a show, they definitely pull you into the performance.
That's true. And I would say, even looking around the restaurant, it was very rare to see anybody not participating.
Yeah,
it was very rare.
True. So maybe not the best place to go and have a conversation.
Definitely not.
But if you need some entertainment, if you have a crotchety old aunt that you got to go out to dinner with, and you're in the city and you're not sure where to go, take her there. That way you don't have to talk. It's great.
Yeah, especially if you have the family members that say really inappropriate things that all people don't want to hear.
True.
Take them there.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, who got the check? I got the check. Also, again though, to be fair, I was easier to reach.
True.
Tanya was sitting a little bit more like behind the taps, and I was a little off to the side, so it was easier for our bartender, server, dessert guy he was juggling a lot of things, honestly.
He's fabulous.
He is fabulous. But he did give me the check, which was fine. I was paying, so it worked out really well. As far as the breakdown, now I made a faux pas. I will admit that I did not actually keep the correct copy of the receipts. All I had was the total. I will say our total came out to $147.41. That was for 4 drinks, 3 of which were cocktails. I did get 1 hard cider. We had 2 meals and we shared 1 dessert.
Yes.
So is it a little pricey for a diner? Yes, it is. Also have to remember you're getting entertainment from the moment you walk in the door. Actually, a little before you walk in the door to all the way through your meal. It never stops. It's fantastic.
Well, kind of think of it like this too. If you've ever been to like medieval times, right? That's actually a pretty expensive place to go to, but that's also because you are getting the entertainment along with your meal.
Yeah.
So it really logically makes sense.
Yeah, so I would say for the menu items that they have, it's a high price, but you're getting that entertainment and you're having to pay for both. And in which case, dinner and a show for 2 people for less than $150, including a tip, pretty reasonable, really.
By the way, do note, the tip is included in your check.
Because there is 22% auto gratuity added in. I did go ahead and add an additional $5 to that, just because I really was impressed with our guy that we had. He was juggling a lot and still managed to be probably one of the friendliest service people that we had the entire time. Very sweet, very good about checking in with us, good communication. Yeah, so I don't have like the meal versus the tax breakdown, but for $147.41,
That's a good date night.
That covered almost a 25% tip and 2 meals, 4 drinks, a dessert,
show.
and a fantastic show.
Very
really.
nice.
So that, again, my faux pas, not having the line item breakdown, but I think that does pretty well cover it.
Yeah.
It's
So from these 2 chicks, we would say this was
that's a great question. I would say a solid 4.5, only because I think that they could up their game on the food, both execution and menu a little bit. You want to give them a 5?
I would give them a solid 5.
Give everybody a 5.
I would. That's not true. That is not true.
All right, that's fair.
Thank you.
That's fair.
I would give them personally a solid 5. And the reason that I say that, even with the food menu and the execution, here's the deal. It's a diner.
Right. Yeah. It is.
It's a diner.
100% what you expect for diner food.
100%.
Yes.
So, I mean,
but I feel like a 5 should exceed expectations. And for the show, it did. Hence the 4.5.
And 5, because you're getting what you expect to get, but more, because the show is fantastic.
But more.
So anyways, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure that you subscribe and hit that like button. The more that you do, the better it gets us into everybody else's nude feeds. Also, here's the other thing. Share this, by the way.
Yes, share this. The more you share, the more you like,
the more you
the
share,
more places we get to go and review for you.
Yeah.
And we want to give you the best reviews. So here we are again, Lesbians Eat Out. Join us next time as we continue our 3rd episode of Lesbians Eat Out. Go to New York City.